Life on Earth has been evolving for millions of years. It makes us horrified that our species could destroy it. This is why we decided to start these environmental projects.
We wanted to reduce our waste, so we were sure everything that was recyclable could actually be recycled. We wondered if any of this was actually helping because we have heard that most plastics that are sent to the recycling center don't actually get recycled. So we wanted to know, where's our recycling actually going?
In your article, you said local recyclers confirmed plastics labeled with numbers 3 through 7, shown in this paper.
Sorry.
3 through 7 in the Chasing Arrows recycling symbol are harder to recycle. Can you help us separate these items into recyclables and non-recyclables?
Yes. So what I'm going to talk about as recyclable is what you should put in your cart.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean that it will definitely be recycled every time it goes to any sorting center anywhere from Ventura County. So this one is the easiest. It has water in it, and it would be much better if you empty the water first before it goes in, because even if you have the cap, it does get crushed in a recycling cart at a 3-to-1 ratio, in a garbage cart at a 5-to-1 ratio, and you can end up popping the cap if you do that. So you don't want the water to get on your paper, or especially if it's a worse kind of liquid, it can make the paper even harder to market. The Gold Coast Recycling in Ventura, their first step is a disc screen. So it goes over these rotating discs, and it'll just pass over those. It won't fall between them. And then it goes, drops down into a conveyor belt, and the conveyor belt has an optical sensor that can tell what this is, and it can tell that it's the right kind of plastic, and then it shoots a puff of air and it knocks it into a bin. So that's that one. That one's easy. This one is a really tough one because it's multi-material. It is paper and metal. Amazingly, right now, partly due to a subsidy from the industry that manufactures these, this can be included in the mixed paper bin. That's for now. Won't always be the case, and there was a time when it wasn't recycled. But this is an example of where people put enough pressure on a manufacturer to make their product recyclable, and the industry subsidizes the recycling system because it wouldn't pay for itself. So here's one that I'm going to guess is a number 2, but it's not a bottle. And it is a number 7. So this would be, at the moment, this would be garbage, but we would still say put it in your bin because it's a 1 through 7. Here's another thing that is not going to be recyclable at the moment, but it doesn't even have a label on it, so really this would be just straight out put in your garbage cart. And then these are also ones that were recyclable until very recently when China stopped taking it, and again it's a 1 through 7, so we would say go ahead and put it in your cart. This could be categorized as a mixed rigid plastic. So even though this doesn't have a number on it, it has ants. And the ants are not recyclable. And we would say, yeah, go ahead and put that in your cart with mixed rigid. Lids, we say put lids on containers. The lid is a different kind of plastic than the container. And normally we don't like mixed materials. But the lids are okay because the lids can be separated through float sink differences at the bottlers. And then this is a mixed rigid, so you can recycle this.
Okay. Why are these 2 items not recyclable?
Which 2 are you pointing to?
These 2, because these 2 items, like this plastic, look similar to this plastic, but
Yeah.
it's obviously not the same.
Right. Well, this one, let's see. Can you read the number on the bottom there?
2.
Okay, so 2. So, you know what? It doesn't feel like HDPE. And you know what? It has this coating on it. So this one's really a questionable container. But technically, actually, since it's a number 2, and I guess you could say it's a bottle, this one theoretically could be. I think that the sensor, remember how I said the sensor would detect this as a PET? I don't think the sensor would detect this as an HDPE, partly because it's wrapped. And that's just an optical sensor, and it's not going to be able to read the 2 on the bottom. So this is going to just keep going over the line and end up being disposed.
So if we have one of these bottles, if we took the wrap off it, would it be recycled?
I have a feeling that the sensor would detect this as a bottle. It's close enough in shape, it's light enough, and it would be the right kind of plastic. Food scraps are collected in a recycling program in Ventura County those food scraps have to go all the way to Kern County to be composted. But we're working on two things, and when I say we, I mean we, the entire waste management industry and government. There's one project that's going to be permitted next year in Oxnard. It's called Mountain View. It's because of the street it's on, and it's going to turn food scraps into animal feed. So that still won't result in food waste being mixed with yard clippings because it has to be a separated stream. Also, it's very specific what kinds of food waste can become animal feed. So it's going to be only from specific businesses that generate certain types of food at certain times in large amounts all at once and a predictable stream. So that's also still not an answer to your question, it's just a step in the right direction. The big change will come possibly in 4 years. There's a company called Agriman that's working on permitting a massive compost facility at a farm called Limonera. So again, the regulations were really hard to overcome on that. It used to be that you were not allowed to do commercial composting on a farm. It wasn't considered a farming activity, and we have laws that protect agriculture from development, and that was considered a form of development if you turn agriculture into a compost facility. So, there wasn't a distinction between, you could say the compost is used for agriculture, but then, there was no distinction between, say, building a fertilizer factory on a farm and building a compost facility on a farm. It was thought of as a sin. So anyway, after a lot of effort, the rules changed, and now there is a limited amount of agricultural land that can be used for composting.
Things you can do to help. For one, sewing your own clothes or buying them from thrift stores is a great way to keep using the same clothes. Other things we can do is composting. If you compost your food waste instead of throwing it into the landfill, it can turn it into really good soil, and then you can plant trees with it. This is called a worm bin. You can put your compost in here, and the worms will compost it. You can also give your compost to chickens. They can eat most foods, or other farm animals like pigs. These are things you could do to compost food waste or reuse old clothes.